Hello. As I've been getting interested in RC planes this year, I've kind of been intrigued by the concept of slope soaring, which is where you have a plane with no motor and you use the lift generated by the wind colliding with a hill or something and getting pushed upwards to keep your plane in the air almost indefinitely, really, and just because you don't need a motor, so all the battery is doing is powering the servos. So you can stay up for a long time and fly around kind of like a bird in a way. And I saw Bruce Simpson doing a review of this particular plane here, the Hobby King Ridge Rider, and he seemed quite impressed with it. And he did a lot of slope soaring when he was younger, apparently. So it's a long time ago now, but I'm pretty sure the physics still applies. And anyway, he seemed quite impressed with this one, so I thought I'd give it a try. The version that we see here in the photo is not the kit version. There's another version which is about 60 something dollars, and I thought I would just skip that one and get this one, which looks like that. So it's not as flash looking, but it works the same. So you just get a few bits and pieces to it with it. There's not much to it really. Anyway, this is what I've done with it. I stuck some black duct tape on the end of each aileron, or each end of the ailerons, to hopefully stiffen them a little bit. And not stiffen them, I mean, protect this joint a little bit, and also just help me see which way is up. It turns out that the sun shines through it quite easily because it's fairly thin, and the sun, if you get the sun on the other side of it, you can almost not tell which way is up still because of these. The black comes through to the bottom, and on here I've just coloured that in with a bit of red marker just to make it look a bit fancier. It comes in one piece, so it's a fairly big box, and the only thing that you need to do to assemble it, really, at least the airframe part, is to glue these winglets on. That's about it. Which is kind of nice in that there's nothing to do, and it means that they can give a really nice sleek finish over the whole thing, which I presume is fairly important for slope soaring because it has to penetrate into the air quite well. The downside is that there's not really any way to, well, I guess you could cut it in half and do your own sort of DIY solution, but there's no way to easily just sort of take the wings apart and put them on top of each other to transport, which is what I was sort of thinking I might try and do if there was a way to do that, because there's some hills up the back of the farm that I live on which would be quite good for doing this, I think, but I just can't see any way to get this out there on a bicycle, which is what I would use. I don't really want to walk, because it catches the wind so much in this big shape, and it's pretty hard to strap onto your back without damaging, and you wouldn't want to strap it onto your back so that the wings are sticking out to the side because it just catches the wind too much. Anyway, so it's a bit of an awkward thing to get around. You really have to go to somewhere where you can get to by car and just step out of your car and fly it, which is what I ended up doing after trying on the small slope outside my house, which didn't work out too well. Anyway, too much talking about that. Let's have a look at the plane. Servos come through from the bottom, which is quite nice, and we'll see the bottom in a minute is just nice and flat. Nice that the tie rod is on the top, not the bottom, so it's not going to scrape on the ground when you land. Not really too much else to look at there. I have stuck a piece of tape over the top here because I found that as soon as you crash, the top is going to pop off and then your battery might fall out or some other stuff might fall out, so this really helps to stick it down. And just by coincidence, having this tape on there makes a really nice reusable seal, so it keeps that seal fairly clean. And I've just had the same piece of tape on here for quite a while now, and this way, so it just pops off like that. These magnets were already stuck in, these tubes were already stuck in. What else is there in there? I think that's all there is. And these little magnets, actually I think these are the magnets here, they were already stuck in. This is just a piece of metal, I think. So there wasn't much to do in that respect. So all I've had to do here is I'm using a 2-cell LiPo and a 5-volt step-down regulator to power the receiver. This is another one of those really small FlySky receivers, same as what I put on my bonsai. So for a 3-channel plane, well, this is only 2-channel, really, isn't it? But for a 3-channel plane, that's all you need, and it's nice and small and light. And then I just put the antenna to come out the back like that, over there. And that's all there is to it. I've been flying it with an 850 milliamp hour 2-cell, which just fits in there quite snugly, a little bit diagonal. It doesn't fit across ways, unfortunately. And at the front there I have just one of the steel weights that comes in the kit. It's just a little cylinder of steel with some rust on it. It was actually rusted when it arrived. Is it rust? I don't know if it's rust or what, but you can see that's one of the things you get. Let's see, you get 5 steel and 5 aluminium ballast thingies, and then you get also 8 of these foam blocks just to position them. I've found that I have not needed to use those yet. I haven't really come across a situation where the wind was so much that I'd actually needed to use them. Well, I've actually only done one real day of flying with this so far. But anyway, just that one steel piece was enough. Yeah, so it's quite sleek. Nice little design, apart from the fact that, oh yeah, I found that the glue from this came unstuck quite easily. And after I did a few crashes, once I got some good wind, I didn't crash at all. But the day that I was trying it just outside my place here on the farm, I crashed a lot. And let's look at the bottom. The bottom, as you can see, didn't fare very well through all my crashing, and I've had to glue that up a bit. But it glued up alright, and I think it's probably stronger now that I've glued it up, because I found that on the second crash, this plate, there's quite a nice plastic skid plate on here, that just popped off almost immediately. So I've glued that back down with some Gorilla Glue, which has been holding quite well, and some tape. I think that's fine. And there's also an interesting little square in there, which you probably can't see now that I've put tape on it. Not sure if this was a requirement of the molding process or not, but there's a little square that opens up, and you can take this little block out, and it's almost exactly the same length as one of those steel weights. So I'm not sure if that's intended to be used for something or what, or if it's just a coincidence. But anyway, down here we have some little hand finger holes for throwing with, and there's a, what is this? I'm not sure what that's made of, but there is a spar that was in there already, so you don't have to do that. This, of course, was already glued on. There are also spars in the ailerons. Each of them has a spar. They're using these kind of crappy zip tie sort of attachment things for the ailerons, but I find if you hot glue them up right from the beginning, they work okay. And this is what I was saying before about the servos. They've gone to the trouble of making sure that there's no cavity on top of the servo after the servo's been inserted. The only cavity on the bottom of the wing is here, but you kind of have to have a cavity there to put your fingers in, or you have to have something. Maybe not a cavity, but you've got to have something to grab hold of to throw it. So once you put the servo in, there is this specially shaped foam block there that comes with the kit, and you just press that in, and I've put a bit of tape over it as well, but that wasn't really necessary, I don't think. It just pressed in and it stayed in there pretty good. And there you can see this one a bit better. It didn't I was just saying it stayed in good, but yeah, it's okay. Maybe the tape is a good idea, I think, but it definitely doesn't need to be glued or anything like that. Yeah, and I really like the way the servo protrudes out the top of the wing like that. It's all very slick, and it's got a little groove there for the tie rod to go down in. Oh, very nice. Yeah, so like I say, I took this just outside my place here on the first day when the wind was in the right direction, but the hill was just not big enough, or the wind was just not strong enough, and not consistent enough either. It was sort of gusting. When it was gusting strong, the wind was enough, but when the gust died down, that was the end of the flight basically. So I did a lot of recording there that I thought I might be able to get some video to put on YouTube, but it just sucked. So I'll spare you the pain of watching any of that, or any more of that at least, because we're looking at a bit of it now. And I'll just skip to today, actually, when I went to a place which is much more suited for doing this. Actually, probably one of the better places in the country, in fact. So let's have a look at that. Okay, this is Raglan. That's the beach. That's the sun. The sun's going to be in my face. And there's a good spot. Well, I assume there's a good spot over there. So let's go and check it out. The weather forecast for today said there was almost no wind whatsoever, but being that we're right on the coast here, we are getting a sea breeze, I presume, so not too bad. And I don't think I could screw this up too badly, because, well, we'll see. But there's a good clear area of land over there where I can land if I get pushed backwards. And there's a good clear area of land down there, so hopefully. Where's the wind coming from? Wind is coming from there. Right. So let's see what happens. Well, it's a lot better than still losing height though, eh? So I'm not sure if we have enough wind today still. I only have one steel thingy in there at the moment, so I could take that out. But that first little flight there was not really that promising. Let's try here. But I'll hunt around a bit more. There might be a better spot out further or something. Whoops. Okay, I've come up on the front of this hill, which is a lot windier, so let's give it a shot here. Actually, kind of want to be down here, but alright. That seems better. That's better. Sweet. Pity about that sun, eh? I guess you can't see anything. Oh, beautiful. I should come here in the morning. The sun is burning figure eights on my eyeballs, on my retina. Whoops! I took it too far back there, and then I couldn't control it because it lost airspeed, I think. Oh well, that was a good run though. That was must have been almost 10 minutes or so, and I only stopped because it was my fault. It wasn't like the conditions were bad or anything. This is pretty good. Touch and go. Nice. Well, that was much more fun than the other day. You just really need to get the right conditions for it, don't you? Anyway, I think I'll stay here for a bit longer, but I think you've seen pretty much all there is to see. So that's going to be the end of this video, and thanks for watching.